Hey, it's Joseph here. We are going to have a look at this laptop over here, Lenovo Yoga 6 13-inch. The Yoga series has been known for its 2-in-1 form factor. This means that the laptop is capable of opening 360 degrees, therefore you can use it in multiple different modes. I have been a big fan of 2-in-1 laptops as I enjoy pen input for sketches and the handwritten note taking, and more on that workflow later. And I wanted to let you know that Lenovo has loaned me this device for me to produce a review video like this. However, they have not told me what to say, therefore what I'm about to cover in this video is based on what I have observed and experienced using this laptop for the past month. So without further ado, let's get to it. Right off the bat, I really like its look and the general handling of the device. And this specific laptop color is called Abyss Blue, and this is what it kind of looks like. Quite nice, don't you think? I wouldn't say it is the most high-end finish nor the thinnest and the lightest of the laptops, but it can easily be your business or productivity laptop or at-home laptop. You can just leave it in the living room. I've handled a lot of laptops with different type of finishes, but there's something about this fabric finish on the top panel that makes handling of the laptop really pleasant, and I think it is quite photogenic as well. The overall weight of the device is this, and then the size is this as well. And the overall size and the weight put together, it puts this laptop in an average weight and size class where I would expect generally what 13-inch laptop to be. The overall body construction is plastic with slight rubber coating, at least on the bottom panel. Therefore, it's really pleasant to touch and handle. Due to its plastic construction, it doesn't give you the premium feel of the metal bodies, but the overall build is quite well made, no plasticky feeling. The overall shape is quite rectangular as you can see, and with the flat edges on the sides. Let's have a look at the left side of the laptop for the ports. There is a USB Type-C 3.2 Gen 1 port with a charging symbol, which means that you can charge the laptop with the USB Type-C power delivery charger. There is a power LED indicator that lets you know when the laptop is charging. Then there is a USB Type-A port, 3.2 Gen 1 port next to it, and then 3.5mm headphone microphone combo jack. And then moving on to the other side, the right side effectively, there is the power button to turn on the laptop and off regardless of the mode that you are in, and another USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 1 port, but this one is always on to charge other devices such as your smartphones, and also USB Type-C 3.2 Gen 1 port that can do data transfer as well as a display output. And you can do that with the other port as well. Unfortunately, neither of them support Thunderbolt as it has AMD CPU, but it will support fast data transfer, and that would be the perfect moment for me to mention about our sponsor. This video is sponsored by UNI. UNI is a brand that makes a number of PC and mobile accessories. I've been using their display and USB Type-C cables for data transfers and laptop and phone charging. They now have M.2 NVMe SSD enclosure that can receive a stick of your choice and turn it into a compact external drive that is both fast and durable. And I actually think this is quite nice looking with a green accent, and the installation is simple. Just open the enclosure, insert the stick into the device, secure it with the fastener and the thermal pad, then close the enclosure. Connect with the included USB-C cable to your computer, partition the drive if the drive is new, and enjoy the fast transfer speed of your files. Please use the link in the description to get yours. Moving on to the back of the device, you've got the large openings on the back to cool the laptop. And before we go ahead and look inside the laptop, I wanted to show you the underside as well. There are two long rubber bars to prevent the laptop sliding around on top of the desks. And then the cooling grill is also positioned over here. I can just about see the fan that is on this corner. And then there are 6 simple T6 screws, I believe, that you can undo to get into the inside of the laptop. Okay, so let's have a look inside of this laptop. And you can see the large portion of the laptop has been occupied by the battery that's on the keyboard side. And it is a 60 watt hour battery, and it is easily replaceable by undoing a couple of screws. And then the band, therefore it is quite nice. And you've got the storage over here, Western Digital, and it is a 1 terabyte drive, and it is located here. And here is the Wi-Fi or the wireless module, and you've got the soldered on memory, I believe, as well as the CPU under here, cooling via this single fan towards the back. So effectively that grill over there is not cooling, just this grill over here will be cooling with this fan, and seemingly all serviceable quite easily, as well as the battery, and that is a good thing. And it is now time to put it all back together. And I've also noticed there is a reset button that has been noted on the back panel or the bottom panel. It is really good that the 2-in-1 laptops are still openable and serviceable. Although a few parts are soldered on and cannot upgrade, being able to swap out the battery out once it reaches its lifetime is very, very useful. After all of that done, let's go ahead and open the laptop the proper way. I found it is quite difficult to open this laptop one-handed. It just slides around, and also the bottom panel lifts up like this. So I do have to hold the back and then make sure it doesn't slide down the table, and also hold down the bottom panel to open it all together. So it is a two-handed operation. But once you have managed to open the laptop, you can swing this laptop 360 degrees, as I have shown before, in different set of modes, such as this tent mode, tablet mode like this. Again, I really like this choice of fabric material on the top, and also it is wrapped around the edges of the screen, therefore it is quite pleasant to handle and touch. I do not know how well it would wear over time, but it looks quite nice. When you are in the tablet mode, you can use the touch to navigate through the laptop. But let's not forget that you can also use the pen with this. Lenovo has a compatible pen with this laptop, which is called Lenovo Digital Pen. I'll leave the link in the description. It is sold separately. With the current sale going on, it is $40, which is quite well priced, I would say. And you can use it to do all pen related functions with the laptop. I would actually make handwritten notes. And it has 3 different buttons, just like many other pens. You can hold the button over here to cause erasing stroke. And when I first opened the box for the pen, I was a bit confused as it included this piece of plastic, and apparently you can plug it into a USB type A port and basically insert the pen into it so that you can securely store it. I would actually prefer to have a magnetic attachment, as I'll be concerned of accidentally knocking this piece sticking out and breaking the precious USB type A port. So whilst I was testing this device, I kept the pen inside of the bag that I carry this laptop with, along with the charger and the mouse, so it was in the close proximity whenever I needed to use it. And since we were just looking at the display itself, let's have a look at the screen. It is obvious that it is a touch screen and it works quite well. And the overall resolution is 1920 by 1080 and it is packed into 13.3 inch panel. This is my preferred form factor of laptops as I am quite a small person. I run things at 100% scale at this size, but you can choose to run it at 125% or 150 as the Windows will recommend you to do so. The screen is not matte. As you can see, it does have a fair bit of reflection. Therefore, you may catch some reflections if you work in a bright environment. And the brightness of the screen reaches up to 300 nits. And I usually do lower the brightness to just kind of match the exposure of the camera. They say the color gamut is 72% NTSC, which is equivalent of 99% sRGB. Nothing to brag about in terms of the color, but I'm totally happy with this as there isn't any terrible shift of colors and such. And as you move further down on the laptop, you will see the keyboard. And Lenovo is actually known for their well-made keyboard. A lot of people favor their keyboard for its layout and the feels. And as I typed up the outline of this video on this laptop, I can certainly feel that this is really pleasant to type on. The keystroke depth, pressure, and key distances feel really comfortable in general. And I want to note that they have this unique shape to their keys, so they're just sort of recognizable in that way. And you can change the backlighting of the keys by holding the function button and then pressing the spacebar. It actually took me a bit to figure that one out. I also want to mention that the right and the left arrow keys are full size, whereas the up and down arrows are half size. And I can easily land all of my keystrokes around there and no complaints whatsoever. And there is a fingerprint sensor on the corner of the device on this side below the arrow keys, and you can log into your device quickly and securely. It has been a bit since I started using the fingerprint sensor on laptop, and I find it useful. Below the keyboard, of course, you're gonna have the touchpad. It feels and clicks like a glass, and it also registers the multi-touch controls as expected. Having to try this touchpad, I feel that it is sized very well, and also it clicks and feels and registers all the gestures quite well. Zero complaints there. I didn't really know that Lenovo was quite good with a touchpad, but might as well be. And on top of the screen, there is a little slider that you can move back and forth to cover and uncover the webcam. And it is a design that I have seen before, and I think it's pretty well done. And I really do like this physical slider thing. And let's go ahead and test out the webcam briefly. There you go. You can kind of see my camera setup there. Let me go ahead and look at myself over here. So now you should be seeing me through the laptop's webcam as well as hearing me. So how does this sound like? And on spec, this webcam is 720p camera, and I think it is good enough. It's a bit grainy on the darker areas, although my room is quite dark at the moment, so just keep that in mind. They will be able to see you and hear you. So let's go ahead and test out the speaker. I'm not expecting something amazing, but it does say it is a Dolby Atmos sound, and also the two speakers are located on the either side of the keyboard facing up, which should have some quality differences. So let me go ahead and play. That's volume at 50%. And to 100%. So it does sound pretty good for its size, and yeah, you can certainly hear the sounds very well. And for doing light tasks such as watching videos, listening to music, web surfing, and such, the fan of this laptop is not going off. You don't really hear that at all. Actually, I don't think it has turned on during the shooting of this video, and the laptop itself maintains its temperature quite well. But obviously when you do more intensive tests, it will turn on its fans and you can hear them and it will dissipate heat that way as well. The only odd time that I have noticed it ramps up the fan is when the laptop is charging. I'll get into the charging of this laptop a bit more detailed later. But in general, charging does produce heat, therefore it is understandable. You can actually set the laptop's power mode into different ones in Lenovo Vantage. And it is currently in the intelligent cooling mode. You can adjust that if you want this laptop to have different, such as battery saving mode. Speaking of battery, I think this laptop shines with its battery life. With the light tasks such as writing outline of this video and YouTube watching, the laptop was able to last 12 hours. I was happy with laptops lasting 8 hours, which is a full workday. So it is needless to say that number is quite impressive. If you do a bit more than the video consumption or light web surfing, you can expect the battery to last lesser than the 12 hours, obviously depending on the intensity of the task. The Ryzen CPU inside of this laptop is quite an efficient one, therefore you're seeing a good number in terms of the battery life. And when it comes to charging, the native charger of laptop is this. And it's in the bag because I have not used it, but the maximum output of this charger is 45 watt, and it does have quite a bulky cables that I typically don't like, and you just gotta carry around like this. Fortunately, the charging port is USB Type-C, which means that you can use other third-party power delivery USB-C chargers. And the smaller charger from Spigen is much smaller, as you can see, and it is much neater and white, I guess, in terms of color. And it is a foldable prong design, so you can fold up like that to charge your laptop and unfold, and all the cables come off, so you can just carry different kind if you would like to. And it is supporting 45 watts with this tiny little charger as well, so I prefer to carry this around instead. It is much more compact and a neat charging set, and for a small laptop like this, I prefer to carry more compact setup. So I'll leave the link in the description for you guys to purchase if you would also like that. Based on my testing, this laptop can take 80 watts and even more power output, which means that when it is needing to be charged quickly, it can be charged with higher capacity chargers. If that is the case, then I'll take this 100 watt charger from Spigen as well and charge it quickly. And let's quickly list out all of its specifications. CPU is AMD Ryzen 7 5700U, 8-core processor, and the memory is 16 gigabytes, but soldered on as you have seen. And the 1 terabyte of storage, which I find it to be plenty for this type of laptop. It is a swappable design, and as a whole laptop configuration, I believe this is a higher tier and there are other cheaper variants available. As this laptop is not a performance laptop, I'll be somewhat brief on the benchmarks, only doing CPU based benchmarks as it doesn't have discrete GPU. We basically have much lesser result than other performance laptop on V-Ray render test, and also the Revit benchmark courtesy of Bimbox, and then the Blender CPU benchmark. Typically, Ryzen 5000 series CPU would be fine for light graphics and light 3D work, as well as a simple 1080p video editings. But I would not really use this laptop for anything more than that, as it can really struggle. And let's move on to the price of this laptop, as we've got to look at this laptop in more context. So based on my short search, this current spec of the laptop is normally going for $1,100 on Lenovo Lenovo's webpage. However, it is much cheaper on other websites such as Amazon and the less spec version on Best Buy. And to draw the overall conclusion, I wasn't expecting much out of this laptop as its price range is more of a budget or economical range. I certainly would not expect top of the line performance or the most premium feel of the finishes. However, it did everything quite well and it excelled in some areas such as keyboard, touchpad, and the battery life. So if you're looking for no-nonsense, well-rounded, and priced 2-in-1 laptop that can be left at home for video streaming, homework, word processing, or a laptop to work in a business meetings, conference calls, coffee shops, and on the flights, then it can easily be that without spending so much money on the things that you don't need. And let's not forget, this is a 2-in-1 device, so if you're the type of person who likes to use a pen and a touch input, then it's got you covered. So if you decide to get this laptop or any of the accessories that I have covered inside of this video for yourself, please do use the links in the description. It will not cost you anything extra, but it will help to support this channel. And if you have enjoyed this content, please like this video and consider subscribing to my channel to continue watching these type of videos. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you next time. Bye.